December 2022, I made a series on my YouTube channel called Explaining Members of the Seven. And in this playlist, all I did was just explain every member of the Seven one by one. The title of these videos would go around the lines of the Paradigm Significant Story Explaining Members of the Seven Part 2 and stuff like that. Like also the Scientist's Profound Story Explaining Members of the Seven Part 3. Honestly, these videos didn't actually do that bad. They got a good amount of views and actually gained me a couple of subscribers. And I was actually the first storyline YouTuber to make a series about the Seven, but I'm not being competitive or anything. The Seven series ended off with the Order's Boundless story, and the performance of this video did actually really bad as we did not know much about the Order. Now after that video released, the Seven series was over, but it didn't feel like it was over. The Seven series needed more content after the Order as we do not know much about her. So today I decided to make some extras. And these extras revolve around two characters who are very important to the Seven. And I am talking about AMIE and Jones. But in today's specific video, I'm talking about AMIE. So before I get more into the lore side of AMIE, I'm just gonna go over a couple of minor details. You see, AMIE doesn't have a body. She is literally just a computer program. A computer program made by the one and only, the Scientist. But I'll get more into the Scientist later in the video. Now, AMIE isn't actually normally spelled. It isn't spelled like AMY. It is spelled as AMIE, which actually stands for Artificial Machine Intelligence Engine. Now, AMIE was introduced in Chapter 3, Season 3, which is the vibing season, and she's also voiced by Erica Lindbeck, who has been in a lot of anime shows. But with all said, let's get into AMIE on the side of the Fortnite lore. But me as Sayo presents the 7 series Part 8, AMIE's Sharp Story. Let's get straight into it. So as I said that AMIE was introduced in Season 3, she was actually only introduced in Part 3 of the Vibing Quests. And when AMIE was first introduced, many people thought that AMIE is just going to be a side character and she doesn't need to be cared about. But in future seasons, we realized that we are very wrong, but I'll really get more into that later. Now, when we were first introduced to AMIE, she thought she was very perfect. She thought that the only one who ever loved her and ever will love her is the Scientist. And back in that chapter, AMIE's knowledge level was very low. She did not know much as she did today. Now, AMIE does actually feel emotions. We learned that when AMIE reveals that the Scientist and her had a fight. Well, not a physical fight, an argumentative fight. And so that was really it. The Scientist would task us to look for relics and AMIE would just join in. Now, the more we talked to AMIE, the more she learned about human life. She learned about the body, for example, arms, legs, and what they can do. She specifically said this.
Wow, I kinda want a body now. With rocket launchers for arms and knife feet. Or maybe regular feet. The power of knife feet would immediately go to my grappling hook head.
Now, in Part 7 of the Vibing Quests, things started to go downhill. AMIE still speaks to us, but we do not have the Scientist anymore, we now have Paradigm. And the two of them start to notice that some of the 7 members have gone missing, so they try and look for them. They go through any clues and search through any files to see where their last location was. And the two of them did this on many members of the 7. Most of the members have either left their helmet or one of their weapons somewhere across the island. And wherever they did, that was their last location. Now, the Paradigm manages to locate the Scientist, the Visitor, and the Origin. And they are all actually studying the chrome going around the island in an underground biolab. Now, throughout these last quests, AMIE and the Paradigm actually start to grow a bond, but it isn't the strongest yet. Now, the Paradigm had to get down with some important business for the Scientist and the other members. Whilst to be honest, AMIE is kind of just left to do nothing. And AMIE is not the happiest of all people when she finds out that we are the only ones left to talk to. But that is now it for Vibing. Let's get into Paradise with Chapter 3, Season 4. Season 4 begins and things are starting to look a bit more darker. With the Scientist, the Origin, and the Visitor being corrupted by Chrome, and now it's only up to the Paradigm. The Paradigm escapes the Chrome and heads for Loot Lake, where she heads for Reality 659, aka her homeworld. Now, a new season means new quests, and in Season 4 we had the Paradise quests. And we actually had 3 main protagonists involved in these quests. Them being the Paradigm, AMIE, and Jones. In these quests, Jones tried to use AMIE to give him information about the reality tree and other stuff like that. And at first, Jones referred AMIE as just computer, in which obviously AMIE hated this name. Now, before AMIE was helping Jones, AMIE wanted full-on confirmation that she was doing this for her father, aka the Scientist. As honestly, the only thing that AMIE cared about at this point was just finding the Scientist. Now, Jones wanted AMIE to decode a message for us, but AMIE would only decode this message if she could trust Jones, in which she actually can. Now, AMIE did actually manage to decode this message, and it was actually from the paradigm. But at that point, AMIE didn't really care that much. She only really cared about the scientist. But moving on, at one point, AMIE actually said this.
Did she say nothing? Or V, nothing, capital T, capital N.
Oh, don't pretend you don't know.
Now, AMIE actually knew a bit about the nothing thanks to that voice line. But right now, AMIE and Jones are now interested in finding the scientist's research notes. Now, we've heard AMIE sob and get upset about things, but we've never actually heard her cry. But in season 4, we did.
Hideous penmanship. No, Amy, focus. We're going to find him.
Now, throughout the process, AMIE and Jones actually managed to grow a rebel for each other. And let's just say AMIE got a bit mad when Jones said that he can do better with a toaster. But this actually led up to forgiveness for each other, and then we are now into the part 2 of the Paradise Quests, aka the final part. Right, before I get into that, every now and then Fortnite release survey skins, and it is actually a list of upcoming skins that Epic are currently working on. Now, in Chapter 3 Season 4, a new batch of survey skins was revealed, and one of the skins in this list was this skin on screen right now. Now, many people believe that this skin could be AMIE, because if you look at the blue plasma ball in the middle of AMIE's body which connects all of her joints, this plasma ball actually looks a lot like the one on the phone we used to contact AMIE, but there is a chance that this skin might not be AMIE. Now, moving on to part 2 of the Paradise Quests, AMIE has actually still got intentions of saving the scientist, but mostly in part 2 of these quests, AMIE is more focused on helping the Paradigm, this leading up to the Fracture live event. The day was December 3rd, and we were finally waiting for the live event to take place. And Reality Zero is now gone. And then darkness, just pitch black darkness. We were left stranded in space with chunks of the both two islands beside us. And then we saw light from the 0 point. And for this event, it was only Paradigm and AMIE. The Paradigm asked for a status report, and AMIE replied back with the navigation is down and that the 7 comms are fried. And then the 0 point drags us to where the main Fracture event will take place. And it took place to this little island where the Chapter 2 and 3 maps are both combined. Now, out of all honesty, it was kind of just a Paradigm dropping all of the bombshells in this event, with the Paradigm mentioning the scientists and other members of the 7 and also Zero Fusion. And AMIE just kind of felt like a side character. But AMIE wouldn't feel like that for long, as when Chapter 4 released, it was literally just her. Now, welcome to the Oathbound quests, where literally our first protagonist for this quest is AMIE. And to be very honest, you do feel like that AMIE has literally grown a lot more intelligence. As in Season 3, she was a bit dumb and a bit pathetic, but now she really knows what she's doing. AMIE received a last message from the Paradigm, and she actually wanted us to bring a box of rocks to the quarry. AMIE also reveals that the scientists did make other versions of AMIE, but they were just tests. She actually revealed that there were 3 tests of AMIE, and the AMIE we know today doesn't even have an off switch. Now, AMIE discovers what kinetic ore is, but before she knew, she just referred them as rocks. And this quarry place is actually shattered slabs. AMIE also actually revealed that she sleeps as well. AMIE also reveals that the kinetic ore that she located is only on the Chapter 4 map, and is technically in everything. And remember in Season 3 when AMIE mentioned her body? But now AMIE is actually thinking about making her own body. Okay, now it's time for the Oathbound Quests Part 2, when AMIE isn't actually the only protagonist in these quests. We were introduced to Rift Warden Stellan, and he is going to construct a rift gate, which is a bridge to new realities. So at first, AMIE found Stellan suspicious, even though last season he did reveal that he's on our side. Basically just AMIE thought he was a bit of a weirdo. But in this season, AMIE actually introduced us to a new character, and that was the AMIE Fragment. And this AMIE Fragment is literally just a disposable test subject. Now this AMIE Fragment would be sent to another reality, and it's actually where the 7 are right now. And the AMIE Fragment reveals that every 7 member is changing every second, and they are getting more corrupted by the day. AMIE was in shock when she heard this, so she needed to come up with a plan fast. And she actually did, this now leading up to stage 3 of the Oathbound quests. AMIE was gonna build her own body and use the rift gate to find the scientist. And AMIE is building her body in Lonely Labs, and she actually said her goodbye to us in Lonely Labs as well. And this is where she will be building her body. For now, AMIE is actually using the AIM skin for her body. And so you get it, AIM, AMIE. We don't exactly know what the AMIE skin will exactly look like, but it is most likely to be the survey skin. But for now, we just need to have hope on AMIE because she is the key to bringing back the 7. Anyway, that was the 7 series part 8, AMIE's Sharp Story. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, and there are actually some more upcoming projects for my channel coming soon. One of the upcoming projects involves me and some friends that I normally stream with, and we are actually planning something quite interesting. And the other project that I'm going to work on is part 9 of the 7 series, which is to do with John Jones. But to be honest, this project is going to take some time, as I do just need a little bit of help with it, but it will come out soon, I promise. Anyway guys, that was part 8 of the 7 series. Well, it was an extra. Anyway, I really hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and see you guys later. Bye.